Alright, welcome to another cheap hammer battle report. Today we're gonna have the classic, as always, high elves against the Empire. It's going to stay like this for a while until we get the other armies ready. But soon we'll have some different armies to display and to battle. Upcoming battles, we're gonna have Warriors of Chaos present in our battlefield. And perhaps we will have vampire counts present in the next video. So, for now, we're stuck with the good old classic High Elves against Empire. So, for the list, pretty much he put a Star Dragon, I think it was, with a Noble. I think he put some sort of a great weapon or something like that. Can't remember. But yeah, got his battle standard bearer and his mage over there in a big unit of spearmen, and some sisters of Avalon. So like a big unit of sisters of Avalon. Pretty much what he's trying to do is just use the sisters. There's a certain combo that you can put with them with a certain hero. I think it's the with a certain hero that gives them on sixes more armor bane. So his idea is mainly to use the sisters to destroy the steam tank. And on the side of my list, well, I got a big unit, my regular boss, battle standard bearer, general with laurels of victory. I think it was like 70, 60, I think I put this time. Probably my level 4 wizard with battle magic. And I also used the hot pot is going to be I think it was mortar. Yeah, mortar. One of the cannons, the one that is next to the hot pot, is going to be a trebuchet, a Bretonian trebuchet. I just like the trebuchet. Sooner I'll get the miniature, but for now, I just used a great cannon to proxy it. And I think the other guns that are next to the steam tank are both great cannons as well. And of course my steam tank and a big juicy unit of militia as a detachment, big boss unit to benefit for the to raise up their leadership from leadership 7 when they got their own their own sergeant. With the militia got their own sergeant, they got leadership 7. So when you take consideration a rule, I think it was Warban or I don't remember which one of them, allows you to, per each extra rank that the unit have, to increase its leadership. So now it's on leadership 10, it's pretty solid. So I just put it out of I didn't knew what to put exactly, so I just wanted to concentrate on a full melee unit and to have my big main important unit and then support it with some militia. At the moment I don't have the militia, so I'm using my Empire missile troops, my state troops, as the militia. So that's pretty much the list for now. Let's see what happens in the next turn. I think I got first turn and pretty much everything just moved to the front, sustaining heavy casualties, but just as well as the spearmen that are in front of me. I'm not sure what happened, but I think I think it was fireball or something like that. And then I unload the mortar and the trebuchet and both cannons. I think I aim everything to the main unit of spearmen, causing tremendous damage to it. You can see it over there on the, I think it's the right corner. That's the casualties that happen from all the shots. I think also because I put the steam tank with I didn't put the Hodgland long rifle, but it has, of course, it has a steam gun and a steam cannon, but also I put in pigeon bombs, and I think I got a 6 on the pigeon bombs. So that's like a little mortar that you have. Oh, also to mention, if you see on the bottom right on this picture, you will see a unit of archers on top of that rock over there in the corner, and those are some allied, I think it's archers or rangers from the wood elves that he put them to be part of his list of high elves, just to try some units because my brother is thinking about collecting an army of wood elves. So he wants to start trying some of the miniatures, see if he likes it. He likes a lot of elves, so he's trying some of the units just in order to like get a taste of them, and then eventually, of course, maybe purchase the army, maybe start collecting them. Who knows? But he's going for that. So yeah, those are his scout archers, and their mission basically, because they appear after deployment, is to try to take off my war machines. So not much else has been going. Let's see what happens in the next turn. So same thing over here. The wood elves, the high elves have moved. Over there, the dragon has moved a little bit more, and we're starting to receive some damage from the sisters of Avalon. I think they didn't shoot the steam tank. They went for shots on the main unit because we have some casualties over there. The dice that you see on the back, it represents that I got Oaken Shield. I always try to cast Oaken Shield on the enchantments and on the commands and enchantment phase, so I can just get that 5+ ward save, because pretty much like when you get light armor and shield, like you're expecting it to get, to get hit and to die a lot of times. I mean, of course, there are units like the militia that don't have anything and they just suffer casualties and that's it. But there are specific ways and you can use the militia. Of course, we are in a trial, so we want to taste to try as many units as possible and in different combinations to see how they fit, or to see how you can use them and what synergies do they really work. But yeah, pretty much like they took some shots. I think this is a unit. I think the spearmen are actually a unit of Lothar and Sigurd. I'm not sure, but I think they are spearmen. So I took some shots, and there goes some of my swordsmen. So let's see what happens in the next turn. I think also that he casted. Probably he mostly plays high magic because he always wants to try that spell called Walk Between Worlds, so he can get the ethereal rule, so he can do as much damage as possible in melee without receiving any. So I don't know if he got it on this turn, but we will see it on the next picture. Okay, so in this one, let's see. I think I skipped a couple of pictures because I got a lot of casualties over here. Okay. Mhm. Yeah, so in this other picture, you can see another perspective of just the advancement of the troops from the Empire, and how well, the unit of spearmen, probably they got Shield of Sapphire or Walk Between Worlds cast upon them. So yeah, they cannot receive any damage, and you can see the damage that has been caused by the sisters arrows. Now let's see if something else happened. Probably some of the here in this picture you can see that some of the archers from over there in the stone, yeah, they shot at that cannon and caused a wound on it, and which already was dysfunctional. But yeah, shot the cannon and caused a couple of wounds on it. And then, yeah, next turn, the Empire moves again. As you can see, there are several casualties being suffered. Um, this happened, and I think this was a combination of the sisters shooting at the main unit. As you can see up above, one of my cannons is gone. So the shots from the arrows were effective enough that they just made my cannon disappear. Because it only has 3 wounds. Of course, you gotta shoot at toughness 5. So with strength 5, of course, you gotta go at 6s. But these elves can shoot twice. They can have they have multiple shots. Of course, at first they got a good ballistic skill, so when they are in range and they haven't moved, they're gonna be at threes, and then the next one is gonna be on fours. I think in this case, when they appear, it's because of it counts as movement. It is at fours and then at fives. But yeah, it's a pretty solid amount of shots that they can get, and I think I concentrating. What that I did next is actually I took my war machines and I started shooting at them. So in order to not lose any more war machines, I used the trebuchet and the mortar just to take them out. But anyway, in this picture, mainly the most important part is like the dragon used its breath weapon, and I think he used a magic spell or something like that. But heavy casualties on the side of the main unit. You can see there's Mr. Solar Macarius. This is my general. I'm using a dwarf Thane as my battle standard bearer, and of course that wizard of the lore of life. That's my wizard, and the unit next to it. That's the militia. So yeah, I mean, like I think the militia, because of the way that they are accommodated, probably the militia broke on some combat or something like that. I'm not sure because there are some casualties from them as well. But of course, with leadership 10, because of the extra ranks and everything, they can come back to battle because they don't benefit. They don't have a reroll. That's the other thing. Is like they can be in distance with the banner, but they're levies, so they cannot benefit from the reroll of past leadership tests. But still, they are horde, so they can warband or horde. One of those rules is so they can benefit from leadership 10, and it's a pretty safe role when it has to rally. So that's it for this turn. Okay, the steam tank charge into the dragon. So pretty much it's just pinned over there because the dragon is just going to bite it and just claw it until it destroys it, because none of my weapon, I cannot use any of my weapons while the dragon is over there, not even the pigeon bombs. I think you can use the pigeon bombs, but I'm not sure. But the only thing that you can do is just try to fight it with the engineer, the driver that is like piloting this thing. And but you can shoot it with a Hodgline long rifle, and you cannot use the repeater pistol. So pretty much you're just waiting there until the dragon just like chews through your steam tank, and that's pretty much it. So let's see what happens in the next picture. So here's the thing, it's like the main unit charge into his unit of spearmen, and what you can see here is a challenge. So what I was explaining in the last battle report is like um, that here's the thing when it comes to challenges. Like when you want to when you're going against a unit that works in a certain synergy that has like, okay, with this banner and this thing and this other thing and this other thing, it's pretty much an unbreakable unit and it can destroy you. The best bet that you can do if you're in the opposing side is just try to use your champions to challenge his champions. If he does not take the challenges, of course his champions gotta go in the back, because it's like a shame, and they're like it's a shameful thing in the battlefield to just desert, or abandon a duel or something like that. So they go into the back of the unit, and you don't get the benefit. You don't get the benefit of his weapons, nothing like that. So it's a good thing to make challenges if you're on the opposing side and you know that in probability with the synergy that he's working that unit, it's going to break your unit and you can probably lose a very juicy unit. The best thing that you can do is just use your champions to challenge the champions, and you can use your battle standard bearer, you can use your mage, and you can use your sergeant of the unit, you can use your noble, you can use whatever you want. On the side of the empire, you can use your captain, your general, whatever you have, you get to challenge them. So now the thing is how they are going to answer those challenges, because of course you're going to issue a challenge. I would say like the best case scenario um, is like of course you got a massive war boss with a great weapon and everything, and the general answers the challenge. You're gonna eviscerate him, but it will be not wise from the side of the empire to just like take the challenge with the general first. And now you issue a challenge, and you choose a unit that you can just chaff like the war boss with. So you can keep the synergy, you can still fight the enemy. So you use the unit sergeant. You throw the sergeant in just to get slaughtered, and then you can still keep the synergy. And if he has more champions, of course, you can throw your champions at those champions and then see if you can like get the situation a little bit better. So in this case, for example, my battle standard bearer is going against his battle standard bearer. My general is going against his mage, and my wizard is going against his sergeant. And what happened is my BSB died. I killed his wizard, and I think my mage and the sergeant just didn't do anything to each other. So that's pretty much it. But that's a good thing for me. This is what I wanted. Of course, there's a problem because, of course, I lost my Gryphon banner. But I cost sufficient, but I killed his wizard. And all those wounds that I cost are going to be applied to the combat resolution because of the laurels of victory, which duplicates the amount of wounds. So now I got charge. I got no battle standard bearer, but I still got my normal banner, my musician, my charge, all the ones that he did. And I think the wizard didn't do anything. So because of the ones that he cost and the ones that I cost, I think we came into draw. I'm not sure, but we gotta check next picture. But yeah, at least in terms of magic, he can't cast anything anymore. So that's a good thing. So here's another picture about the battlefield so far. The militia are there hanging in the back, and the unit charge into the spearmen. The duels as it was shown, blah blah blah. The dragon still is pinned by the steam tank, and then the next picture. Okay, well, the archers over there in the stone haven't done pretty much anything. I think they make a couple of shots over there to the other cannon, but didn't do much damage to it. And then this is what happens. Now, obviously, I broke the unit. Still, I broke the unit, and now I'm trying to go all for because I know that that unit over there has to rally and then come back to battle. But they are escaping right now. Like they are almost in the border of the map. So one more attack on this synergy that I do, and I could possibly make them run away from the map. But I redirected my unit to charge the Sisters of Avalon. Of course, I'm going to receive some damage on the stand and shoot, but it doesn't matter. Why? Because I know and I'm confident that my unit's going to it's going to terminate them. Now, what I didn't take in consideration is that there was an unexpected result to all of this. Now, I will show you in a second. Here's another picture of the battlefields. Okay, this is from the same perspective. Everything keeps the same. Now, here's what happened. Now, this is danger. The dragon, uh, they were in a stale fight. But here's the thing: like the steam tank is unbreakable, yes, but what's the problem? That it still can give ground if it loses its combat. Something that is unbreakable does not mean that it's just gonna pin a unit forever. Now you got the give ground rule. So if you lose a combat, you give ground. So that's what happened to my steam tank. It got pushed behind, and then the dragon didn't follow up. It stayed where it had to stay, and then redirected its charge to the rear of my main unit, and that's not good. Why? Because I don't have the benefits of my synergy if I get attacked from behind. I cannot use any of these things because I lose the extra ranks and everything, even though I didn't have the Gryphon banner anymore. So the extra ranks is just like the 3 extra ranks that could multiply to 6. It's not applicable when you don't have the ranks. So not having that 6 plus, it's damage, and receiving a charge from the back, it's already like it's a charge +1, or I think it's +2 when it's from the back, and then terror, which they passed, that was not really an issue, even though that I didn't have the reroll. But it's nasty when it gets there because none of the weapons that I have the capability of causing any damage to the dragon. So that's an important thing to take always in consideration when you're going against an army. You have to have at least something to because you know or you have to anticipate that they are going to use a very high toughness creature or something like that. And when they use it, they can easily just bring it right in the front of your melee unit. And if you don't got a synergy, like kind of like the boss that I'm using, well, you don't have really anything that could cause potential damage to it, or that could just bring it down. So yeah, and even though that I have all my war machines, I lost one of my cannons. The other one was not able to shoot at the dragon. Why? Because it was stuck in combat with the steam tank, and now it's stuck in combat with my main unit, so I cannot shoot. Of course, my cannon can definitely do sufficient damage to it. I mean, it's a very, you put it at 4 inches. That's how, at least that's how I use the cannon. I put it at 4 inches away, a dice. Then I roll the dice. Um, yeah, of course, given that it's not gonna be a misfire or something like that, I roll the dice, and then on average you're gonna get those 4 inches. So, or you're gonna get something with this within that range. Just try to make it in a way that you can get as much of the template of that those inches are in somewhere in the area of the template of what you're shooting. So you're gonna, in average, just gonna get the shot. And then when you land it, of course, it's strength 10. So most of the things that you're gonna hit, it's on twos, and then it's multiple ones of six. So it's this assassination completely. But that's the thing, if they lock on those the dragons or whatever creature you're shooting at in melee with some other unit, then it's pretty much over. Unless you're Skaven, because they can shoot even through their units. But on the Empire, I'm not Skaven, so I cannot do that. So yeah, this is absolutely not good news for the Empire. Let's see what happens in the next picture. hmm Oh boy. Yep. So as predicted, it was pretty predictable what was going to happen. So the dragon pretty much just just passed through my unit of my main unit, which pretty much just gives the high elves almost all the points. His main unit of spearmen rally, and my steam tank over there has suffered some severe damage. The only thing that I can think about is maybe the militia throw their bottles or the things at the sisters and try to kill them, or maybe I could charge and try to kill them. But with the stand and shoot alone, I think it's going to be enough. And with just one flaming, one breath fire from the dragon, because I think that was what he used in the end. He used the breath weapon of the dragon to liquidate what was last of my militia, and then the sisters took off the steam tank. Let me see if I got another picture. No, this is the last one. So yeah, pretty much the whole thing. I knew at that moment that it was pretty much, so it was just paper hammer, because they landed a 6, and I couldn't save it with the steam tank, so the steam tank blew up. The main unit was killed, and the unit of militia is not going to be able to do anything, because the dragon is still good on wounds. The main unit of spearmen is still in the battlefield, and what I have is my war machines that well, by this point, I mean, it's like they're not going to do enough, and not against the dragon. The dragon can just, and I think we were in turn 5 already, turn 5 or 6, something like that. So it was pretty much just I conceded victory to the high elves. It was a good battle. Things to learn from this one. I mean, like these big blocks of militia, I mean, there is a synergy somewhere and somehow that you can use them. Of course, this was a tryout, I just wanted to use the militia because I bought a box of them, and I'm going to combine them with a couple of other units that I have over there scattered from my army, and I'm going to make a big unit of militia. Why? Just because I like the miniatures. I like they look like small pirates. They look like a peasant unit of just warriors and stuff like that. Actually, on my empire, I got a big unit of Manatarms from Bertonia, which I use them as my halberdiers from the Empire. Why? Because I like how they look. And I have a big unit of swordsmen, as the ones that you have seen, and a big unit of state troopers, missile state troopers, because I like how they look. So that's how I rock my empire, and I have like this. Actually, I have a unit of flagellants, which I'm not really using, and I never actually kind of like the miniatures. So what I'm gonna do with the flagellants is I have some plans for them, but I think what I'm gonna do with them is like perhaps I'm gonna move them into my vampire accounts as maybe a ghost unit or something like that. I will have to see, because I mean like I have them, but yeah, I don't really like them that much, to be honest. But militia, I mean, they're not the best, but there are ways that you can play them. Perhaps if you play them in a way like as using it as two detachment of the sides of your main unit or something like that, just a harassment unit, because they get the advantage that they're like a shittier, Lothar Seeger, or a shittier arrow and spear unit, because they throw some shots, they get also multiple shots, and they have this ability that they in if you put more of them, they get like a higher leadership. Of course, there's counters to the unit, of course, because they are levies, and they don't follow orders and things like that. So it's easy to break them, and it's easy to cause enough wounds to them. But if you put enough of them, I mean, if you make a unit of 100 militia, yeah, well, that thing's gonna be tough, to bring down, but they're not cheap, which is the other thing. Like it's an alternative to your state troops, but they are not cheap. So that's kind of like a thing that perhaps is going to get changed, but at least for the price that is now, they're not very effective. But if you want to put them on the battlefield, sure, they can make a difference. If I charge some of these units with a unit of swordsmen, and then take the flank with a unit of militia, it's gonna cause damage, and they can do stand and shoot as well. And since it's quick shot, because you're just throwing things at the enemy, there's no penalty and anything, so that's good. All the things, in the side of the high elves, like the spearman was a noble idea. It was a good idea because what he was trying to do is use the spearman and use the ability of I think he's like a Battle of Ages allows you to, use your extra ranks on the sides and on the flanks. So that's Battle of Ages. Thrusting spears, what it allows you is that the second line is going to fully every single one of the guys behind, they're going to be able to make extra attacks. So you got your attacks on the front and you got the attacks from the back. So maybe if you mix it with some other magic or something that can give you an extra attack, maybe you get a very, very, very juicy amount of attacks over there. Now, if you use the Banner of Lothern, I believe that you can use a third line. So that's a very good combo. Of course, it sounds nice on on idea, but it depends on what army are you going against. Like, let's think about maybe melee armies that you're going to be facing. Perhaps you can use something like this because you're expecting charges from those armies, and then you can use all these combinations, and then the plus initiative or something like that you get when you're receiving a charge and you're using spears. You can use them like that. But if you're using spearmen against an army that has range, like especially for example, if you go against the Empire, well, the Empire is known to have a huge repertoire of just gunpowder and a lot of like bombardment things. So they're looking for these big juicy tar pits of units so they can just land mortar shots and just like obliterate your units, because as I said before, it's like humans and elves and these races just like they save, like they don't really save, they're made out of paper and they just get destroyed by anything. You can just blow like just wet paper at them and they just die. They're not gonna stand. So it's a good synergy and it makes sense, but against an army that has range and that is known for its range, as well as for example the high elves, that is known for its range, and the Empire is known for its range and its capacity of just using mainly his artillery. It's not a very safe bet. And he took another bet also here with the dragon, given the last battle that we have, we corrected one thing that was like, yeah, we use the breath weapon when we're engaged in melee, but you cannot do that. But you can still, if you move around your dragon, fly over the units and just put them behind and just use the breath weapon. That's that. It's like nobody can argue that. So it can be an excellent harassment unit. It can be a unit that can definitely just break your army by itself, because it can get behind your lines, use its breath weapon, or just definitely charge from behind a unit that cannot save. And it's pretty much toasted, it can just hunt your war machines one by one if they're all in line, and it's gone. It's like you're not going to be able to use them. But of course, It's a large target and it can receive fire from everywhere. So you gotta take that in consideration. Like there's good things to everything, and of course there's gonna be bad things. But that's I think in that sense, yeah. The steam tank. What was the problem with the steam tank? I didn't move it further enough. You gotta push it to the front. You gotta get it there. And if you pin the dragon with the steam tank, yes, but you gotta remember that okay, there's gonna give ground. Now, if you don't want me to follow, if you're not gonna follow, then you allow me to shoot you. So if the dragon moves away or tries to escape, something like that, it's just a steam cannon. But of course, over here, I gave ground, he didn't follow, and he just charged something else, and it's not subjected to fury. So, or yeah, I think it's fury, or I don't remember which one it is that gives you an extra attack and blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't have that, so it's not obligated to charge the tank again. Uh, so yeah, that's that. The war machines, of course, they did the job, but of course, sometimes you don't get the shots. I think we forgot one of the pictures, but in one of the mortar shots actually landed on the archers that were in stone and just decimated them enough that they didn't pass their. They had to make a leadership test. They didn't pass it. They just run away. So that was it. But yeah, victory for the high ups. Thank you very much for watching the video, and we'll see you in the next one.